Alright, so today we'll learn how to simplify algebraic fraction. Okay, so for the first concept, we will learn how to simplify fraction first. Okay, so for the case 1, you look at your numerator and denominator. At the top, there is only one term, right? So I put this as the first term. And at the bottom, there's only one term. So I put this as second term. Okay, so if I write down the full expression for the first term, it looks like this. 3x, y cube is just y times y, right? Okay, so 3x, y. For the bottom term, I write down 9x, x, and y. So if you take a look, how do I simplify this into a more simpler form? You simply just cancel out the common thing. Alright, so at the top and bottom, for the first and second term, what is the common thing between the first and the second term? Is basically, if you look at the alphabet only, is x, okay, y, and y. Because there's only 2y here, right? So, okay, besides factoring out the so-called alphabet, we can also factor out the 3, right? So the common number is 3. So the thing between first and second term is just 3xy or 3xy squared. So for I factorize out my 3xy squared, what should I get? 3xy squared. Okay, and at the, what is left after you factorize out 3xy squared is y. At the bottom, you factorize out the same thing, 3xy squared, bracket, so 3x, right? So x cubed, and no more. So the next thing you need to do is to cancel the common thing, right? Which is the 3xy squared and 3xy squared. Okay, then after that you just cancel. Okay, what is left is only your y divided by 3x cubed. So this is the simplest fraction you can get, right? Because there's only one term. There's only one term at the top and one term at the bottom. But what if you have two terms? So two terms maybe at the top and one term at the bottom. Okay, so you look at the top first. So first, the top is 1. The first term is here. The second term is here. Okay, and the third term is at the bottom. Right. So whenever you have this kind of thing, right, you need to factorize out first. Factorize out the top with two terms, which is okay. So the common thing between the first and second term is just a. Then you put a bracket. So you just cover you don't look at the second term. You look at the first term only. What is left for the first term? It's just a, right? Then you just copy the sign plus. Then okay, look at the second term only now. So what is left for the second term is just 4bb or 4b squared. Okay, so same thing for the bottom term or the third term in this context, we factorize out a also. So what is left for the third term is 3b, because you take out a already, right? So what is left for the third term is just 3 and b. Right? Okay, next you do your so-called cancellation. You cancel out whatever you have factorized up. A plus 4b squared. A 3b. So you cancel out the alphabet that you have factorized out. Alright? So this is for your simple factorization, taking out the common term. Okay, so case 3. Case 3 is not so simple because we have a very complicated fraction. Okay, so you look at the top. At the top, there are 4 terms. Whenever you see 4 terms, means that most likely it is you need to group them by you need to do factorization by grouping. Okay, so let's take a look at the top first. At the top, we have first term, second term, okay, third term, and fourth term. Okay, so I group the first and second term together and third and fourth term together, right? So group them together, group and group. Okay, so let's group them. So for the first and second term, the common thing between the first and second term is just x, right? So x, then you put a bracket. So what is left after you take out x is just x, right? For the first term. Then you copy the minus, which is this, right? Then for the second term, 3xy, you take out x, left 3y. Okay. Alright, then after that, if you see this plus, right, just copy accordingly. Now we go to the third and fourth term. For the third and fourth term, what is common between the third and fourth term? It's just 2 and z, right? 2z. Okay, so I take out 2z. So for the third term, 2xz, I take out 2z. What is left? Left is only x. For the last term, which is the fourth term, right? Negative 6yz. I take out 2z. Left is 3y. Okay, then let's move on to the bottom. Okay, so bottom xy minus 2xz minus 3y squared plus 6yz. Okay, so same thing. I put them in terms of my first, second, third, and fourth. So let me just write here. Right, so we have the first, second, third, and fourth. So we group the first and second term together. Okay, then we group the third and fourth term together. Okay, so for the first and second term, what is common between them? It's just x, right? So I take out x and I put a bracket. For the first term xy, I take out x. What is left is only y. Okay, so for the second term, I take out x. What is left is, because second term is minus 2xz, right? Remember, for all these algebra, the sign must be with the alphabet. I mean with the algebra, right? Okay, so for the second term, I take out x. What is left is minus 2z bracket. Okay, stop. Okay, so for the third and fourth term, it's a bit more difficult because we have a minus here. Okay. So, okay, whenever I have minus, maybe I just ignore the minus first. Okay, so what is the common thing between 3y squared and 6yz? It's basically just 3y, right? So I factorize out 3y plus 3y. Okay, so what is left for the bracket? For the third term, if you look at the third term, minus 3y squared, I take out 3y, so what is left is just minus y. Okay, then for the fourth term, I take out 6yz, I take out 3y, so what is left is 2z. Okay, but if you take a look at the two bracket here, the first and the second bracket, right, you notice that they are different. Okay, y minus 2z and minus y plus 2z is two different things. So what should I do? Okay, I should change this sign. Okay, change this sign. Okay, so just now I take out 3y, positive, plus 3y. Why not I take out minus 3y instead? Alright, so let me just change a bit. So 3y minus 3y, right? Okay, so now let's take a look at our third and fourth term again. Okay, so for the third term, I take out, for the third term is minus 3y squared, right? I take out minus 3y. So what is left is only y. Okay, then after that, for the fourth term, plus 6yz, I take out minus 3y. So you must put a minus here. Then 2, what is left is just minus 2z. Okay, yeah, so this is how you factorize. Okay, so especially for this, the minus is a bit difficult to see, so you need to be familiar with it. Alright, so if you take a look at the bracket, they are the same now. So I can do my so-called factorization. So let's do the factorization on the top first. Let me erase this. Okay, for the top, if you take a look, okay, I just put this as the first term and this as the second term. Okay, so at the top, the thing that is common between the first and second term is the bracket, right? Bracket x minus 3y. So I take out the whole bracket. Okay, x minus 3y. Okay, so let's take a look at the first bracket first. Okay, I mean the first term first at the top. Okay, after taking out the bracket x minus 3y, what is left for the first term? It's just x, right? Okay, x. Alright, then we move on to the second term, which is this. So for the second term, I take out the bracket x minus 3y bracket. What is left is only 2z. Okay, so hence I factorize the top already. Now I go to the bottom. Okay, bottom, I put the, I put the third term and the fourth term here. Okay, for what is common between the third and the fourth term? It's just the bracket, right? The bracket y minus 2z. So I take out the bracket. Okay, so let's take a look at the third term. Third term is x bracket y minus 2z. After taking out the bracket, what is left is only x, right? Okay, now let's move on to the fourth term. Fourth term, minus 3y bracket y minus 2z bracket. I take out the bracket already, so what is left is only minus 3y. Okay, hence I have factorized fully the top and the bottom. Okay, so let's take a look. What is the similarity? What is the common thing to cancel between the top and the bottom? Right, you notice that there is something common, right? This x minus 3y at the top and x minus 3y at the bottom. Right, so if you have things in common at the top and the bottom, you can do your so-called cancellation. So you cancel away the whole bracket. Okay, so what is left is only x plus 2z over y minus 2z. Yeah, so this is your answer. Okay, so the last case will be quadratic factorization. Okay, so we have a fraction of x squared minus 5x plus 6 over x squared minus 9. So whenever you see x squared, you see like x squared and an x term and a number term. Most likely you need to do your quadratic factorization. So for the top, we look at the top first. Okay, so how do I factorize this quadratic equation quadratic expression? So this one is quite straightforward. It's just x minus 3. Okay, then x minus 2. Alright, then you put a line. Okay, look at the bottom. X squared minus 9. How do I factorize this? This one we have done it, right? Done it before. Okay, but you notice that there's no x term. We only have x squared and minus 9. There's no x term. Okay, the x term is missing. Right, so this we also use the normal quadratic factorization because x squared, okay, plus 0x minus 9. Right, so the middle term, the x term is actually 0x. So for this, I just put x, then this minus 3 and 3. Yeah, so the 9 is what we call the perfect square. And you do your so-called crisscross, right? You notice that my minus 3x plus 3x is 0x. Okay, so this is how I factorize this type of quadratic expression. So you just put x minus 3 and x plus 3. So you look at the top and the bottom now. There is something in common, right? This x minus 3 and x minus 3. So I can do the cancellation now. So x minus 3 x minus 3. Okay, so I do the cancellation. Right, so what is left is only x minus 2, x plus 3. Alright? Yeah, so this is all the different cases of how you simplify your so-called fraction